Well, for more on the Singles Day shopping event and the concept of new retail, I'm joined by David Bell, live from New York. He's Professor of Marketing at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, Rachelle.
So let's start with a bit of context. What do you think it was that Alibaba saw in China's consumer market that caused Singles Day to be so successful?
Well, I think it's just the whole rise of online and a lot of generating excitement around the shopping process and really getting people to feel part of something that's more than just a regular day of shopping. So in some ways, 11/11 is a fictitious thing, but now it's something that we all gravitate to since 2009.
And certainly we see that it's been successful. So what have been some of the most successful new retail practices so far?
So I think you can look at two ends of the spectrum here, Rachelle. If you look at some of the emerging brands like Away and Warby Parker and those companies, what they've done is they've done really interesting things around partnering, pop-up shops, movable stores, and all of these kinds of things. If you take the other end of the spectrum and you look at a company like Walmart, they're having employees deliver products to your home. They're offering 20,000 holiday parties this year in 4,700 stores. So at both ends of the big and small, we see innovation around experience in the store and also innovation around delivery.
Now, we're seeing a lot of experimentation with this, but how are consumers reacting to this?
So I think it really depends on the consumer that you're talking about. If we're thinking about a millennial consumer who's digitally native, who's grown up with the mobile phone, they like the experience of, doing a lot of their shopping online on a mobile device and then maybe coming to an event or something that really gets them excited. If you think about older generations of customers, they like some of the other innovations that are happening in store, like buy online, pick up in store, faster delivery, easier ways of payment, and so on. So it depends a bit on the segment, but I think consumers are reacting because retailers, for one of the first times, are really innovating, not just Amazon, but everybody across the board.
So then what will the new retail's integration of this online and offline need to do in order to continue its success?
Well, I think two things really have to happen. The first is really the separation, Rachelle, of what I would say is the fulfillment function of retail, so actually getting the product and taking it home, from the experience function, which is going into a store or a pop-up or somehow engaging in a brand. And so for that to really happen properly, we want the experiences probably to be offline, sort of high touch, things that we really get excited about. And then, as we saw in some of the clips earlier today, the product then is fulfilled and brought directly to us. I think that's the first thing. The second thing is really going to be about the integration of technology. We're going to see augmented reality and things like that come into play, so sort of shopping through a pair of glasses or through things on the wall, and also a lot of innovation around the pain points of delivery and payment. To me, those are really the major innovations coming down pretty quickly.
Now, if you're a traditional brick and mortar store, all this change might seem a bit daunting. So what's your outlook for some of these stores? How are they going to do and how are they going to try and compete?
Well, I think there's two things they really have to do. First of all is to figure out how to use the physical space more effectively. So we can see companies like Walmart doing this pretty well. Let's have holiday parties in the store. Let's give people a reason to come and visit us. Let's have our own employees do the delivery. Let's use buy online, pick up in store. So think about the store not just as a place where people come and buy and take away, but where product can be fulfilled that's already ordered, and also how we can get employees sort of more engaged. That's the first thing that we'll see. And then I think secondly, a lot of the physical spaces will just have to be smaller. So we see Nordstrom, for example, in Los Angeles, with a smaller footprint store where they're inviting in new and kind of innovative brands that might be digitally native. So almost a kind of an incubating role for the large retailers of bringing new retailers and exciting new brands into the physical spaces.
So David, how do you see the trend of new retail developing globally?
Well, one of the interesting things, Rachelle, is that different economies are in different stages of development. So if we just compare, for example, the two biggest, the United States and China, China's been much more mobile first because, to be honest, the physical infrastructure didn't reach the same level of development as the United States. So I think the online-offline integration depends a little bit on where you're starting with your physical infrastructure. If it's really, really built up, then you might be over-indexed. You might have too many shops, as we do in the United States, so we may see a rationalization and a scaling back. If you're in a more developing economy where that hasn't been built out, we're going to see an emphasis on payment, on delivery, and all of those things that are really driven by a mobile or a digital-first experience.
Well, thank you so much for your insights, David Bell, Marketing Professor at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania.